Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie a pattern from Lively Legs Iron Mike, and this is called the Iron Mike. This is a streamer fly. Material we're going to use, I'm going to use the Lively Legs lip splitter. This is a number 472. Can't see it because I put 100 hooks in one bag. This is a size 6. And it is a streamer hook. It's a nice smaller hook, and I have a 4mm bead on there, and there's a gold bead. He calls for a silver bead. I just don't have any 4mm silver. Now we're going to use some white Marabou, and the Marabou, you just want the quality that you're going to need, that you would use on a woolly bugger. We're going to also use some barred flank feathers. This package here has gadwall, pintail, and teal in there, so I don't really know which I'm pulling out. Anyway, we got some nice bars on there. I like the nice black and whiteness. And then I'm going to use Gartside Secret stuff, and this is Pearl. And what he used was Ice Wing. It's the same stuff. His might have a little bit more like a bluish color in there with the Ice Wing, the Pearl Ice Wing. This has a little bit more of a greenish color in there. And we're also going to need Pearl Tinsel. Is the number 16, and here is the flank feathers. We need a larger one that's going to be at the front, and we're going to have a smaller one for the back. But this is a pretty easy fly to tie. I'm just going to use some 8/0 black thread. So I'm going to get a base of thread on the hook. And you can add extra weight on there. If you have a tungsten bead, that's pretty good. But if you're going to be using it in high water, I would use a tungsten bead and add extra weight in there. So make yourself a couple decently heavy ones for them high water situations in the spring. We're going to bring that back just inside the barb, or just inside the point. We can break that off. Now we're going to take our white Marabou, and I already made one and I used half of this feather. So I'm going to just pull the Marabou, just gather it all together and pull it off the stem. And I kind of just fold it over as I'm going. You get a little bit, half an inch or so, and fold it. And then pull a little bit more and just kind of keep folding it over. And it's just wrapping it into itself. So we have a pretty good Marabou type tail there. We're going to make this tail just about the length of the hook itself. Put it right about there. I'm going to go ahead and secure this. Take a loose loop straight down. Take a couple of those. This is a very messy looking fly as you're making it. A couple, 2, 3 of those. Snug it up there kind of tight. You might want to use 6/0 thread on this. The previous fly I made, I broke the thread like 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Get that out of the way. I'm going to leave it about halfway. I'm going to just quickly secure the rest of that. Just kind of make a palmering with your thread just to get it secured. And then you can come back. Like I said, it kind of looks messy when you're building it. We got our nice tail there. Now I'm going to take the smaller of my flank feathers. I'm going to pull the fluff off the back and the short ones off the back, off the bottom of it. Now I'm going to V-notch this, so I'm going to take my hackle plier. Where's that little? Take my hackle plier. I'm going to just catch the very couple on the tip and pull that down. And you can see there we go. So we're going to pull these all down except for the very tip. And we're going to have, there we go. Got that tip. We're going to pull these all back and then cut that tip out of there. Now we're going to pull it back into shape. We're going to take that V and we're going to put it right down on the sides of the Marabou. And we want those side or the flank feather to go almost to the end of the Marabou. To the end is fine too. You want to keep that right on top, and you can kind of pinch the flank feather around the sides of the Marabou. And we're going to secure that. Make sure that's on top. There we go, and that's what we have. You go ahead and go up a couple palmering type and then fold your stem back. And now it's not going to come out because we folded that over. Go ahead and remove that stem. I'm going to turn this upside down. And I'm going to take my GSS Pearl and I'm going to dub my thread with the GSS Pearl. And you'll see this GSS or whatever you're using, the Ice Wing or Angel Hair or whatever, it's all going to be pretty unruly. Lick my fingers there a little bit to get a little moisture on there, and that actually helps control that pretty good. You don't want them dripping wet, but just to get that little moisture. Now we're going to go ahead and wrap that. And I almost made it to the front. And I put just a small amount more on there. I don't want to crowd the bead too much. You don't want to end up with a big amount of thread or so much material on there that you got half the bead covered, or the material level. You don't want your material level to come up to the bead top. Oh, sharp hook. There we go, and I'm going to be a couple eye lengths from the bead. Any wild ones, don't even worry about them. Now I'm going to take another clump of my pearl material, and I tie this in about in the middle of the clump. We're going to take the stuff from the front, we're going to pull that off to the other side. You can kind of give it a little bit of a figure eight here. Kind of have something like that effect. We're going to pull everything to the sides. I'm going to go back on that just slightly. Then I'm going to stroke it all back and I'm going to measure it. And whatever's hanging off the back here, I'm going to just break it off. You could even go ahead and dub that you broke off, dub that back onto the thread and kind of clean that up so you don't see so much of the thread. There we go. And we're still going to stay at least 1 eye length from the bead. Now, the amount of the flash that you put on there really is really up to you, but I found that using any flash, doesn't matter if it's GSS or the ice wing or whatnot, it really stands out in the water. So that's why I keep it a little bit, I'm keeping it a little bit on the light side, because that's a really, like I said, it really stands out in the water. Now we're going to take our larger flank feather and we're going to V-notch that one. There we go, I got the tip exposed, trim that off, and then push everything back into shape. And we're going to do the same with this as we did on that tail section. And we want these flank feathers to go maybe about halfway into the tail section or halfway into the previous flank feather. We're going to hold that and again kind of wrap it around the sides. You can see how it's kind of wrapped around the sides, and then we're going to secure this. We're going to take our stem, I'm going to wrap back on it, and for the head we want about an eye width behind the bead. Go ahead and trim that off. Now with that fold back again, it's not going to come off. Take all of that and just kind of stroke it back. I'm going to come back, see it's standing up there just a little bit. I'm going to come back on it just a little bit more. Going to kind of come up onto the thicker portion. There we go. That's going to hold that down a little better. Now I'm going to take the pearl tinsel, that number 16 pearl tinsel, and I tried it with a heavier tinsel, and it just was, I did it with a number 10, and it was just too wide. It was causing me all kinds of problems. But I'm going to take 8 inches, I guess, 8 inches to a foot. We're going to go ahead and tie this in. The whole purpose here is we're going to cover all of that black thread area with the tinsel. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this. That's why you have so much. You don't have to worry about it. You can see it jumped on me, and it jumped on me again. Keep it tight so that it doesn't slide down on you. If you want, you could even take a little bit of the flash that you used in the body and dub a little bit and just cover that up with the flash, with the angel hair or the ice wing or whatever you're using, the GSS. We're going to bring this up to the front, and you can see that that bead is definitely, it's not in there. It's not so thick around that bead. Put a couple of wraps in front of it, and then you could go ahead and trim that off. Take my poke and snip quick and get rid of that. Might have a couple of that ice wing or what GSS, whatever you're using, they'll be flying all over the place, but don't even worry about it. When it gets wet, it's all going to go back. Now we're going to go ahead and give this a whip finish, and when we whip finish, we want to make sure that we bring it down, like get that down deep into the behind the bead. and tug that, sometimes you could hear it go down. You could feel it go down a lot. I'm going to go ahead and give it another 3. Mike just uses a half hitch on there. He gives it 3 half hitches, 3 single half hitches to pull it down. Now we go ahead and trim that. Trying to keep that under control. Now you can go ahead and head cement that. I'm actually going to put eyes on this. I like using eyes on my streamers. So I'm going to put 3mm eyes on there. Going to take my eyes out of the package here. And I'm going to use my bodkin needle to take them off the paper and put them right on. And I'm going to stick them right on the head, right there, right in back of that bead. And put the other one on this side. They have a little bit of glue on them, but of course you're not going to depend on that to fish them, because you put them in your fly box, they're going to fall off. So you need to secure them, and I'm going to secure them with UV finish. This is the Deer Creek Diamond Fine. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit right in between on the top. Come on out. There it is. I'm going to let that go in there, and this is just basically going to hold them in place. You don't want to look at the UV light. Just 2-3 seconds, 4 seconds is plenty. And then I'm going to coat them to get a drop out and kind of drag them over it. Get that drop out, kind of drag it. Drag it. Drag it. And then again, you see how it looks like it's dripping? It's because it is dripping. So you just rotate it and it will level itself off. Just rotate it until you get it to where you like the looks of it. I'm actually going to take that drip and pull that up the back there a little bit. Yep, see how fast it drips. I'm going to let that come up down to the bottom, and then I'm going to kind of drag that to the side there. There we go. Now we got a kind of a pretty nice shape there. And we're going to go ahead and hit that. I'm going to just get it to stiffen up there a bit. Then I'm going to take, I have diamond wrap on a piece of cardboard. It was actually a hook thing. But I'm going to wrap that around it. And then I'm going to just hold it on there. And this way the diamond wrap or the diamond paper will bounce that UV around to get it all the way around. And we'll keep that on there maybe 10 seconds or so because it's thick. Alright, not even 10 seconds. Go ahead and put that away. And again, it's bulky. It's kind of bulky right now, but when it gets in the water, it's going to lay down just like that. But here we have the iron mic. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors and let them know that I sent you. If you'd like to purchase any of these flies that I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And if you don't see it, leave me a message. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, I thank you very much for watching my videos.